Oh, get the cookies out the oven. They're just right. When CNN's exploding and mad and upset, we're doing something right. Oh boy, let me get some of this peaches and cream moonshine. Oh man, back in the day, they used to walk around late at night, pass around the jar. Not anymore. They out in the public in broad daylight, pass around that moonshine. Amen, America. Freedom, baby. There it go. There it go. There it go. That's that. You think it's what it is, but it's really what it is now. It's that peaches and cream. Don't try it, and don't let them forget that they trying to bury that. Don't let them bury it now. Don't let nobody forget about this now. There it go. That went down smooth, I tell you. Shout out to my brothers and sisters around the world, them beautiful patriots. I hope everybody is blessed, well, healthy, and that nothing but the best is going on in all you beautiful people's life, man. Boy, oh boy, y'all see what's going on? You see the title? It's finna get good, man. It's finna get real good. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'll pull this bad boy up from my brother Greg, man. A couple of y'all told me he dropped an amazing video. So we're going to check it out and react to it. But man, the liberal mainstream media, man, they are freaking out right now. And especially, man, after that Elon Musk interview, man, whoo. But as you see, man, everything is happening for a reason, man. At honeymoon stage, dinner came to an end, you know. And you see now a lot of people are waking up to what's actually going on, man. You know, and she's not making it any better. You know, after that VP pick, after them hiding, don't want to answer interviews or questions or dodging debates. You know, everybody sees who the true leaders are. You know, they're answering questions. They're from it doesn't matter who. They're walking in the Lions Den. They're walking on MSNBCs, the CNNs. You know, even if they get treated nasty, disrespectful, you know, or if they even bring up something old in the past, or just simply calling the man racist, they back themselves up, man, and they call it for what it is. And I'm loving this Trump and Vance ticket, man. Loving this Trump and Vance ticket. I'm loving, and like I say, Vance, JD wasn't even in my top 5 for VP picks, y'all. Y'all know that. Y'all know my top 3 and my top 5 were. Some of us had similar picks, you know, but JD wasn't in there. And I'm loving this fella more and more every single day, man. He has a spine, you know, and he's setting the record straight. And they're actually talking about solving problems, solving issues. You know, they're actually talking about policy right now. It's very. I'm telling you, these sides are very, very different, man. You know, but we kind of and we just need Trump to still calm it down. Because again, we're still giving independents, moderates more a decision to make, you know. But he just did really amazing at the rally. We're gonna cover that in our next video, so y'all be ready, man. Y'all be ready. We got a lot of videos coming up, so let's go and check this out, man. Boy, oh boy! Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and I will leave the original link down below. Huge shout out to my brother Greg, man. Nothing but love, man.
Hi, I had to come on here today to talk about the interview that Elon Musk had with President Donald Trump last night. When I got on X this morning, I saw all of these negative headlines from our media about how bad the interview was. Now, if you...
He was slurred. Trump was repeating himself. They were like, man, come on. And I'm so glad. And Elon Musk tweeted out, and that tweet had over 1 million. I think 1 million some likes. And it was seen by millions of people of him calling out, the mainstream media for, their headlines, their biased reporting. People are waking up, man. People are sick and tired, man. Sick and tired.
You didn't listen to the interview. You would think that Donald Trump said he was going to do something to everybody in the world. Let me tell you what it was. I sat there, and I normally don't listen to speeches or interviews, but I sat there and I listened to the entire thing, and it was really quite amazing. And I would implore any politician to say the same thing. If you want people to vote for you, then you need to address issues that are important to people. And so instead of the Democrat Party constantly bashing Donald Trump, you know what they need to do? This is what I say to them. You say the same things. You address the same issues. You address inflation. You address the war. You address freedom of speech that you guys are trying so hard to remove from everyone. When you address those same issues, or if you address those same issues, then your party platform would be about issues and not about Donald Trump. It is the weirdest thing to me. And then people fall for it. When I was reading the comments, I was like, I just listened to this whole thing and I couldn't believe I did. But I did. I said, but you know why I listened to the whole thing? Because he talked about things that were important to Americans. Democrats, start talking about things that are important to Americans and stop pandering.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about the Kamala Harris campaign, who is currently upset and melting down like the rest of the mainstream liberal media over the interview that Elon Musk and Trump did last night that went super duper mega viral. Okay, it seems as if the Kamala campaign is not taking this too well, and you have CNN panels erupting right into full-blown meltdowns over Trump's interview with Elon last night. Take a look.
The Harris campaign wasted no time firing back at Trump after his interview with Musk. In response to the live stream on X, the Harris campaign released a statement saying, quote, Trump's entire campaign is in service of people like Elon Musk and himself, self-obsessed rich guys who will sell out the middle class and who cannot run a live stream in the year 2024.
This third-rate phony candidate, don't forget, I beat Biden. He failed in the debate miserably. We cannot have a Democrat. We cannot have her. She's incompetent. She's as bad as Biden.
It's like watching Grumpy Old Man or something. I don't mind attacking a person for their policies or their positions, but he's just sort of griping just because she exists, to your point. And I think we know why he's griping, because she exists. She's a black woman. And everything that
these race baiting race hustlers, man, I tell you, you just can't make this up. What does race has anything to do with it? And you see, and then they get mad when you respond to this. Boy, man, just disgusting.
I've seen in the course of his career, and I know that he has black women in his circle, and I know he's appointed Omarosa and all of that. I know all of that background. But I also know when he's confronted and being held accountable by black women, time and time again, he is shown to be someone who is uncomfortable in that situation. And I think he's complaining more because it's Kamala Harris, a black woman, than any other factor.
There's nothing that he's saying about her, however, that wasn't actually said by Biden campaign personnel in leaks to the press for months and months before the hot swap unfolded. For literally about 3+ years, you had folks around President Biden who were leaking against, undermining, characterizing Kamala Harris as a disastrous, underprepared.
How do you know this?
Because of extensive reporting, and drawing on White House sources.
How come former President Trump doesn't know this? If you've known for 3 years this woman was coming, and now she's here, and you're confused about what to do.
I'm sorry, I wasn't sufficiently clear. What I'm saying is that what he is saying now, when he is diminishing her capacity and what have you, these were all things that were standard talking points coming from Democrats who were anxious about her weaknesses. Now, only over the last month or so has the narrative entirely changed about this, because the press no longer felt obliged to protect
So
President Biden.
Are you
So that's how
suggesting
this
then
changed.
this is originating because Donald Trump is following the intel of Democrats, and this is based solely upon the intel of Democrats, and not some long-standing representation of how he feels about American people since the 1970s?
Okay, I think what he's suggesting is that this is not just off of what Democrats have said, but Democrats have also said some of the same things Trump has said. And so him saying these things is not something new that no one's ever said before, that she's incompetent. And you can point to the policies. You can look at so many policies throughout this administration that she has to own that will hurt her in swing states.
Just to be clear, I mean, I understand that maybe there were some Democrats privately who were nervous about Harris, but I don't know that you have Democrats calling her phony, incompetent, a third-rate candidate.
That's what I was about to say.
That is well
I must have
beyond.
missed where Democrats called her a bum. I must have missed where they questioned her ethnicity. I must have missed when Democrats called her low IQ and stupid, and all of the litany of awful insults that Donald Trump has levied against Kamala Harris since she's been in the race.
But did you miss when she
forget that
couldn't even
he's
get
not-
a couple
she-
percentage points in 2020 to make it to the first primary?
This isn't the first time
She
Donald
wasn't
Trump has-
wildly popular.
It doesn't matter. She's the vice president of the United States, and she's beating Donald Trump right now. So, but what also we are
All
not,
that matters is what
also
happens
we're
on
forgetting
November 5th.
is that Donald Trump's history of insulting women is very long. As a matter of fact,
And her history of
long-
failing
it's
is long as well when it
and
comes to these
documented
policies that
how many
matter.
times when he was at the bully pulpit, he insulted women
what we know is
journalists
that this-
repeatedly, including you, Abby, who he also called stupid, which you're not. You went to Harvard, and you are far from that. And this is what Donald Trump.
You went to Harvard. You went to Harvard. Oh, you kick your Ivy League bucket down the hill. Throw that bucket down the hill. Boy, people kills me, man. I tell you. But it's actually, this is it. Hey, this CNN panel is exploding. I love it. We doing something right. We are doing something right. I'm telling y'all, man. Don't worry. It's coming. People don't want to accept the reality, man. People are lost, far gone, delusional, no common sense. They are wokest of the woke. Yeah.
Trump does. He doesn't like to be held accountable. So because he is now in a position where he now is being held accountable for what he said, we know already that he has a history of being a sexist, and now he cannot
This is base
grapple with the
management.
fact.
These are not the arguments that are actually effective for Kamala Harris.
Oh,
If you
no?
look at the
Why is
recent,
she up
for
11
example,
points?
Reid Hoffman's group Blueprint has described what is effective for Kamala Harris. What is effective for her is taking positions that are the positions that would be endorsed by Joe Manchin and by Bernie Sanders, being perfectly down the line. I will protect Social Security and Medicare. It is not actually attacking Trump. What you guys are doing right now is,
Pointing
helpful
out the
base
facts?
management right now, but it actually isn't something that moves the
I'm
needle.
just- I'm
What
just
you see is
repeating-
actually this kind of
No,
base
it's
management
actually-
doesn't
it's
actually
actually
have
an
much of a
interesting-
material effect. Anti-Trump arguments
Wait a
are
minute.
actually so played out, so tired.
It's an
that
interesting
they're actually
point
not
that
moving
Ryan
the
Yeah, so that was an extremely heated panel on CNN, right? And you could tell the people who were actually on the side of common sense and rationality, and those who are just extremely Trump deranged. Oh, he's Trump racist. He said something bad about a black woman. We don't like it. Oh, he's so hateful. He's sexist. Yada, 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 right?
That Trump derangement syndrome, man. I tell you, ain't no coming back. Stage 4. Stage 4. Common sense far, far gone.
Now, again, the point that the conservatives were making on the panel was that, hey, Trump's not saying anything about Kamala Harris that the Democrats don't say about Kamala Harris behind closed doors, okay? Because this is the same party that struggled to endorse Kamala Harris for vice president just a year ago, okay? I mean, if they actually believed that Kamala Harris was competent, Kamala Harris would have already staged a coup against Joe Biden 2 years ago, right? The whole party would have couped Joe Biden 2 years ago. He would have been gone, right? That was the original plan. The original plan was for Joe Biden to be out, right, after 2 years and for Kamala to take over. But because she's so bad, she's so terrible that Joe Biden literally had to melt down on the world stage in order for Democrats to replace him. And when they decided to replace him, they didn't even want Kamala to be the replacement, right? I think the only reason she got the nomination is because Joe Biden endorsed her after he dropped out as an FU to the Democrats, to Obama and Nancy Pelosi for pushing him out in the first place. Now, here's another secret that the mainstream liberal media doesn't want to talk about. Kamala's campaign is not doing that well, okay? They are severely underperforming where Democrats were performing in 2016 and 2020, and that is a very, very, very bad sign for Kamala Harris, because that suggests there aren't that many people that are excited to vote for her as the mainstream liberal media would like you to believe. Also, what they want you to believe is that, well, Trump in his campaign is collapsing. And that's also not true, because Trump's approval is actually higher than it's ever been, right? Ever, right? Trump is the most popular that he's ever been, but yet the media, if you watch them, you be thinking the exact opposite. You think that, well, Trump is, he's falling apart, right? People are abandoning Trump and going to Kamala Harris, but that's just not true when you look at the actual numbers and the data. It tells you that, hey, Democrats might not want to celebrate too quickly, okay? Because this thing is far from over, and Kamala Harris is not doing nearly as good as she should be doing.
I want to take a step back and sort of point out we've kind of been here before. So August 13th, how far were the polls off in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin? And this is in 2016 and 2020. Trump was estimated both times around and by significant margins. Take a look here. In 2016, the average poll in those states that I mentioned, those Great Lake battleground states, Trump was underestimated by 9 points on average at this point in 2016. How about 2020? It wasn't a one-off. Look at this. He was underestimated by 5 points on average. And of course, Kamala Harris's advantage in those New York Times Siena College polls were 4 points in each of these key battleground states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. The bottom line is this. If you have any idea, if you're a Kamala Harris fan and you want to rip open the champagne bottle, pop that cork, do not do it. Donald Trump is very much in this race. If we have a polling shift like we've seen in prior years from now until the final result, Donald Trump would actually win. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I am saying that he is very much in this ballgame based upon where he is right now, and compare that to where he was in prior years.
Yeah, and again, this is why conservatives should not be panicking. Okay, there's a lot of doom and gloom. People say, oh, Trump's advisors. Oh, Trump needs to change his strategy. Oh, Trump needs to do it. No. The strategy is the same strategy that the Republicans that Trump used against Biden, right? Which is to talk about the fact that, hey, this person is not answering any questions, first and foremost, because that speaks to their competence and their ability to lead. And then second of all, to stick with the policies, right? And to talk about the disaster that this administration has been. Now, Trump historically has underperformed in the polls. This is something I've reminded you guys almost every single time that I've talked about polls, which is that the proper way to read them is to take whatever number they give Trump and to bump it up by 2, 3, 4. And in this case, CNN is suggesting up to 9 points, right? In which they could be off, right? On average, specifically in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. That's a big deal. That seems to suggest that these polling firms have issues actually getting Trump supporters to respond to the polls, or maybe you have some people that are closet Trump supporters that are not comfortable telling people that they support Trump. We know for a fact that this effect exists, right? So right now, again, that's why I'm not super concerned at all. I'm like, I think we're in good shape, right? We're in really good shape considering how Kamala Harris hasn't faced any criticism. She hasn't answered any questions. She hasn't faced any type of adversity, but yet she is severely underperforming Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. Okay, and also on top of that, you always have to account for the fact that the polls don't do a good job at really measuring Trump's support.
We certainly heard the Harris campaign saying we have to keep fighting.
Absolutely.
This is definitely not over. All right, let's talk about enthusiasm and how that translates actually. We are quite a ways out, again, 3 months about.
Yeah, yesterday I was mentioning, the enthusiasm for the Democratic ticket was up. But that enthusiasm is not the same thing as going out to actually vote. And there's a different question, which essentially says, how certain are you actually going to go out and vote? And this is the top range. Almost certain to vote. Again, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. This is among registered voters. Look at this. Look at Kamala Harris now compared to where Joe Biden was back in May. In fact, 62% of Joe Biden voters said they were almost certain to turn out and vote. Now,
It's gone down.
it's actually gone down a little bit. I would call this in the same general area at 61%, but it's basically unchanged. And look at Donald Trump. He was at 58% in May. He's actually gone up a little bit now. He's at 60% now. Again, basically no real change. So the bottom line here is, yes, there may be more enthusiasm for Kamala Harris, but the fact is we're not seeing that necessarily translate in the almost certain vote. And one little other note, Sarah, I will note this. Donald Trump is more popular today than he was on August 13th in either 2020 or 2016. So the bottom line is, yes, Kamala Harris is doing better in the polls.
And they're talking about they're going to sentence him to prison in September. Oh boy, we really gonna just have to it's really gonna be a landslide. He gonna go up at least about 10, 20 points if he goes to prison. Yeah, y'all don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just saying. Y'all see what they talking about now? If he goes to prison in September. All right.
But there's a long way to go. The polls can shift. The almost certain to vote hasn't actually shifted, and Donald Trump is more popular than he was at either 2016 or 2020 at this point.
Those are interesting data points, Harry Enten. Thank you so much.
Wow. Again, this is something they don't talk about. They're not going to tell you this. Trump is more popular than he's ever been. Okay? Now, what have we heard in the media and from a lot of the doom and gloom conservatives on the internet? It's really been nothing but negativity, right? A lot of trashing Trump, a lot of criticizing of Trump advisors. Oh, Trump shouldn't say this, he shouldn't say that. And it's like, no. Trump is more popular than he's ever been before. What are you talking about? Trump is doing fine, right? What's happening right now is that Kamala Harris is essentially getting back the support that the Democrats lost because people didn't want to vote for Joe Biden, right? Because he was clearly and obviously not capable of continuing to be president. But that doesn't mean that Kamala Harris is some exciting candidate that, is going to result in a record amount of Democrat voters coming out and supporting her overwhelmingly and flipping Trump supporters in droves. That's not what's happening. All these rallies, if you look at the footage, who's showing up to these rallies? The weirdos of the Democrat Party, right? The single cat ladies, okay, with no kids, right? Young thotties. Her base, right? The base of people that you would think would show up to support a so-called black woman running for president, right? That literally are just supporting her because of that. But again, she doesn't have any hardcore supporters that are supporting her because of policy. They're not supporting her because of that. They're supporting her based off emotions and feelings.
Shout out to them single cat ladies. We love you. We love you. Them single cat ladies got that good, you hear me? Anyways, my bad, y'all. Shout out to all the fellas out there. Salute to you, hard-working fellas. Where all my real fellas at? We're gonna crack open a cold one later on. We're gonna crack open a cold one, a couple of them. Throw the football. Smoke a cigar.
But yeah, again, when you look at Trump and what's happening with him, his campaign is not falling apart. He's only getting better. He's better than he's ever been. Again, if you look at the approval, when you look at the favorability. So I think people got to understand that as of right now, what we're looking at is that we're in a situation where Kamala, she's going to ride this out to the DNC, right? She just denied an interview from the Time magazine. I mean, we know that was going to be a softball interview. She's like, nah, I'm not doing it, right? So she's riding this out to the DNC. And I think that if she continues to run, if she continues to hide, this sugar high is going to go away, right? And it's going to come crashing down very, very, very quickly because I think that she's going to have a hard time really getting moderate voters and people who actually really think to vote for her if she doesn't actually sit down and do interviews and to answer questions about her policies and her positions, right? I think that that's going to be her Achilles heel. I really do. If she continues to spam this strategy of avoiding the media, avoiding the press, I think that's what's going to happen. And I think people have to take a step back and understand where we're at right now and who's scared and who's not. Kamala's the one that's scared. She's the one running scared. She's the one that has her campaign built on a house of cards. We have to realize that. Trump's campaign has been battle tested, right? He's been battle tested. He's already done hundreds of rallies. People complain, oh, Trump's not doing any rallies this week. Yeah, well, maybe he should take a break, do some other things, focus on some other strategies, because for the next 2 or 3 months straight, yeah, that's what he's going to be doing. He's going to be campaigning his ass off. And trust me, nobody wants to win more than Trump does, because if he doesn't win, he's going to jail, right? So I think people got to understand that, yes, Trump definitely wants to win, and he's going to do what he has to do to win, but I think people got to be patient. I think people have to not panic, take a step back, understand where we're at in proper context, okay? Trump right now is in a much stronger position than he was in 2016, in 2020. And if that is the case, I still believe that if an election was held today, Trump will win. And I think that he will win by decent margins, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I really do. I think Trump will run it up, because I really
Listen, if Trump don't win, he is going to jail. Boy, boy, boy. Oh, Uncle Don, man. Uncle Donald. Uncle Donald, man. They caught you. They caught you. They say you was classifying documents. You threw the documents out the window all on the freeway. And they said that was a crime. I don't know, Uncle Donald, I tell you. Now, I thought it was a sham too. I don't know how you turn misdemeanors into a felony. I mean, it's like you just, parked your car outside the Wendy's and started peeing on the in the public. Anyways, I love y'all. I'm wishing the best in everybody's life. I got some amazing videos coming for y'all tonight, man. To this whole rest of the week. Make sure you got them post notifications turned on. We're gonna have fun, man. We're gonna keep it real, and we're gonna continue to fight, man. We got 83 more days, y'all. 83, man. And I'm ready to get back on track, y'all. I really am. Things got to change around this bad boy, for real. I love y'all, and I will catch my beautiful patriots, my brothers and sisters, in the next one, man. Peace and love, y'all.